Welcome to Econ 317. In this instruction video, we will go over some additional features of the budget set. So let's start with the budget set we have seen before. We had two goods, apples in pounds on x-axis, orange again in pounds on y-axis. Price of apple was $2 per pound. Price of orange was $3 per pound, and income is $300 per month. We have drawn the budget set as well as the budget line, so I will do it here once more. I have apples in pounds on the x-axis, orange in pound on the y-axis, and we are seeing the graph for the budget set turned out to be 100 being the vertical intercept and 150 being the horizontal intercept. This was the budget line. Given this budget set, now we will like to see how the budget set as well as the budget line changes when one of the parameters of this model changes. So we have three of these parameters out here: price of apple, price of orange, and the income at hand. I will go over the example of looking at changes in the price of apple on the horizontal axis. Even if you say no, why if we want to go over changes in the price of orange, the results would be similar. So we are not losing any generality by looking at only the horizontal axis. So let's say the price of apple which is $2 per pound goes up to $3 per pound. That will be our first example. Obviously, you can see if price of apple is $3 per pound, the maximum amount the buyer can afford given this price and the original income of $300 is 100 pounds. So, and then also there is no change in the quantity, in the maximum quantity of orange the buyer can afford, because I have not changed the price of orange. Given this information, I can see the consumer can afford the vertical intercept 0 pounds of apple, 100 pounds of orange, and the horizontal intercept 100 pounds of apple and 0 pounds of orange. These two pairs are enough for us to be able to draw the new budget line. So I start from the same vertical intercept and I go down to the horizontal axis with the intercept being 100 pounds. So if I say budget line I had before, I number it as budget line 1. Then the new budget line, I will call it budget line 2. So you see, it has moved inwards with retaining the vertical intercept as before. In other words, if I take the vertical intercept point to be a pivot, then the budget line has moved clockwise inwards. because the price of apple has gone up. That's not the only situation one could visualize. Price of apple could go down also. So price of apple from $2 per pound changes to, let's say, $1 per pound. Again, when I say I have changed the price of apple, there is no change in the price of orange. Also, there is no change in the income. So, I could still again write that the consumer can afford. The vertical intercept is always affordable because there is no change in price of orange and there is no change in income. And the horizontal intercept would now be different. With $1 per pound price, $300 at hand, the consumer could buy 300 pounds of apple, obviously 0 pounds of orange. So now I will draw this budget line also on the same graph. So obviously it won't turn out to be drawn to scale, but I will at least write down the numbers correctly. And this budget line I will number as BL3. So as you have noticed, this time the budget line has moved outward because the price of apple has gone down. In the earlier case, the budget line has moved inwards. The pivot always remains the same, the vertical intercept. And this is what happens when we change one of the parameters, the price. There is another possibility of looking at changes in budget line as well as budget set when we change the income. So change the income to find change in the budget set. And for this, again, income can go up as well as income can go down. I'll start with first drawing the original budget set. This time I will try to be little more to the scale. So I have orange here in pounds, apple here in pounds, and then the original budget set was 100 pounds of orange, 150 pounds of apples, and that was when the income was set at $300. Now, as before, when I change the income, the remaining two, the prices of apple and orange, will not change. So, price of apple will remain $2 per pound, price of orange will remain $3 per pound, but income goes up as well as goes down. Let's start with income going down. Income goes down from $300 per month to $150 per month. In this case, as you can see, you can do this math. Given price of orange being $3 per pound, the maximum amount of orange the consumer can buy, so 0 apples, and the maximum amount of orange would turn out to be 50 pounds. 150 divided by 3 is 50. Similarly, the maximum amount of apple this consumer can afford is 75 pounds. So 0 orange, 75 pounds of apples. are feasible. No, these are feasible with very specific condition that entire money is spent. So these 2 points have to be on the budget line. And so now we are ready to draw the new budget line, which will be 50 as the vertical intercept. And then I want to be careful in drawing the horizontal intercept to be 75. Ideally, these two lines must be parallel to each other. All that has happened is the entire budget line has moved inwards because of decline in income. Then there is the other situation where income could go up. Income goes up from $300 per month to, let's say, $450 per month. Then we can see, with no change in prices, the maximum amount of orange the consumer could afford. So 0 apples, 450 divided by 3 turns out to 150 pounds. So this is feasible. Similarly, the maximum amount of apple the consumer could afford, which means 0 for orange, 450 divided by 2 is 225. So these are feasible. Again, as I have said before, these feasible points utilize entire income at hand. So the new budget line now will have 150 here, and then I would like to draw the budget line looking at, did not turn out to be a straight line, but at least I will write down the vertical and horizontal intercepts correctly. So remember, the new budget line has shifted outward because of change in income. And all these three budget lines have the same slope. They are parallel to each other. So let's number them. BL1 was the original budget line. BL2 is the budget line after income has declined. BL3 is after the income has gone up. And remember, we did not change, we changed only one parameter at a time, not the remaining two. So that's how the budget line changes in response to changes in the parameter value one at a time. One could also look at the possibility of changing two of them at a time, and I will leave that to you as an exercise. And this is a good point to stop.